In this segment with Get Up, it's a new show on ESPN. It's not like a debate show like First Take or Undisputed. It's more like they just sit down and discuss sporting events. But it got Michelle Beadle, Mark Green, and it has Jalen Rose. And the Cleveland Cavaliers swept Toronto. Toronto, to me, they just mentally don't think they can beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, even though they had the best record. Man, to me, this is a year that a lot of teams' records are inflated. We had like 6 or 7 teams tanking. We had Dallas tanking, Chicago tanking. We had Sacramento, Suns, the Phoenix Suns, the Atlanta Hawks, and Orlando Magic, and several other teams that were tanking. So it's a lot of guys, a lot of teams. Their records are kind of inflated. So yes, Toronto ended up with the best record, but teams in the East like Washington underperformed, Cleveland underperformed, even though they swept and got through Indiana in 7 games, but they underperformed, and several other teams underperformed in the East. So like I said, Toronto, they just need to break the team up, man. Like I said yesterday, they need to combine the Washington roster and the Toronto Raptors roster, and then maybe they can get past LeBron. I did not think that the Cleveland Cavaliers would sweep Toronto. I thought they would beat Toronto, but I never thought they would sweep Toronto. Toronto just didn't show no fortitude, man. No particular fortitude. How can you get swept? Like, really, you got to show some type of backbone, and they just didn't show any. Now, Philly, they did show some backbone. They did win, Game 4. They didn't get swept by Boston, but I believe that series is over too. Boston probably will close it out at home. Boston played very well at home. They don't play as well on the road.
Welcome in to Get Up with Greeny Jalen.
What up, Bill?
We got a big show. Joining us at the Seaport today will be Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard.
It's good to see the brother Jalen Rose with his own show on Sports Center. Jalen Rose, great college player, with the 5'5" of Michigan, and he had a pretty good decent NBA career. But Jalen Rose, he has a lot of back channels in the NBA. A lot of things that he prognosticate comes true. He has a lot of friends, so he gets a lot of inside stories. It's good to see Jalen Rose, with his own show.
CJ McCollum.
CJ McCollum.
And one of Greeny's heroes,
my favorite player that ever lived.
Yeah, I feel like we should just leave the set.
Wrong way.
Yeah, we don't need to be.
My mother would have left my father for Joe Namath, and my father would have applauded her for it. That is how we feel about Joe Namath in my household.
Can we still make that happen?
Yes, well,
all right,
there are a few extenuating circumstances, but yes.
Yeah.
In principle, yes.
All right, we're going to start with the NBA playoffs. And I don't know how they did it, but they did it. Cavs hosting the Raptors, looking for the sweep for the second straight year.
It's a lot of sentiment that's going around that how LeBron James beat Toronto. Yes, this is not the typical Cleveland Cavaliers roster of the roster that LeBron has been on over the last 7 years, but they still had enough to beat Toronto. Then they got LeBron James. LeBron James is the guy that mentally Toronto cannot get over as a team, as a whole, coaching staff and everything, organization and everything. It's not like LeBron James didn't have any help. Now, did he have the same guys like Kyrie, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, those guys? No, but they proved that they had enough to get over Toronto, and they did beat Toronto the last couple years in the playoffs, and now they swept them. But Toronto, to me, is more about Toronto not having, the best combination of players. In my opinion, they have fringe superstars in DeRozan and Lowry, they're perennial all-stars, but they're not, to me, they're not stars per se. Both of them are good number twos. They will be a good number two. They both will be good number twos on a championship winning team, or maybe a number three, borderline number three. But neither one of these guys are number ones. LeBron James is a transcendent player. He can transcend two all-stars. If one of them were a, like, per se, superstar per se, number one, a solid number one, then maybe they would have got past the Cleveland Cavaliers. But he was able to transcend those two guys.
Cougars first half, Cavs support staff locked in from the start. George Hill finished with 12 points. Kyle Korver, Kevin Love, they combined for 51 points in Game 4. So all that business we were giving them before, it's gone.
Beans, I love to give credit to the victor. However, did you say swept for the second straight year?
I did. Oh, we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, that is. They did. They swept them last year. They did sweep them last year. So it's not. Look, man, it is what it is. And it's a lot of people out there, pundits out there saying, like Nick Wright and others saying if LeBron James get to the finals, he not gonna hold it against him if he don't beat the Warriors or the Houston Rockets. I'm going to hold it against him. This is professional sports. This is not some kiddie league. They play for wins and losses in this sport. Just in case you didn't realize that, Nick, they play for wins and losses. There is no judging nobody on a curve or giving someone a pass. No, you don't give no one a pass in professional sports.
Trust me, J.R. Smith shot a perfect 6 for 6 from the field in the first half, and going into halftime, the Cavs led by 16.
And not pictured in almost any of these highlights, any defense.
No, you didn't need
whatsoever.
Any. And now we take over with LeBron. The LeBron show begins here. He just made it look easy, and you're right. It was.
But see, Mark, they do not allow you to play defense in the NBA anymore. Sometimes you can get physical. Now, one playoff series this year that was physical was the Miami Heat and the Philadelphia 76ers. That was a physical series. They allowed them to play physical, but they don't allow guys to play physical like that really anymore. Once you beat your man, once you get to the rim, you don't have to worry about anything. You're gonna have an easy layup. Back in the day when you had power forwards and centers that were camping out in the lane, you could not do that. They were putting you on your back. You may get a couple layups, but after that, they start putting you on your back. You have to worry about which way they're coming from.
Very much as though Toronto just said, let's get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off, we're done. Late in the third, another fadeaway jumper, that one over the backboard. It was just no answer for the man. Cavs crushed them in the sweep. Let's hear from the guy, shall we? We'll start with LeBron.
We've had 4 or 5 seasons wrapped in one. We've talked about it all year. We know what the narrative has been about our team, but I can only speak in the moment, and to be able to put ourselves in a position where we can, represent the Eastern Conference in the finals, that's all you can ask for.
Hey, I'm glad you're going to be able to put yourself in a position to represent your team in the finals, because I don't want any excuses when you get to the finals. I don't want to hear that you didn't have enough help. You had enough help to get to the finals. I don't want to hear about that you didn't have enough help to beat Golden State or Houston. Let's play, roll the ball out. You know what it is. Let's go.
The hardest part is, and you've seen it for years with Michael Jordan, they haven't run into LeBron James. And they haven't lost to any other team in the last 3 years but us.
But see, the only thing about the Michael Jordan era and the LeBron James era is Michael Jordan won all his titles. LeBron James lost 5. Yes, in the East they ran into LeBron. But Jordan in the East and then in the West, he stopped teams like Karl Malone and John Stockton, the Utah Jazz. He stopped teams like Phoenix Suns and Kevin Johnson and Dan Marley and Charles Barkley from getting titles. He stopped Clyde Drexler from getting titles. He stopped Gary Payton and Sean Kemp from getting titles. See, LeBron James only stopped 3 teams, and the 3 teams that he stopped, 2 of the teams beat him twice in the finals. Like San Antonio beat him twice, swept him once. Like teams like Dallas beat him. Yeah, he was able to beat OKC Thunder with Kevin Durant and them. That was a pretty good team that he beat. But then, he lost against Golden State twice. He was able to beat Golden State, but he lost to Golden State twice, and last year it was really bad.
And I think, we have a good team.
So LeBron James, getting past LeBron James in the East, that's the only thing him and Jordan got in common. But when it comes to the getting in the finals and and stopping the West from winning titles, it doesn't correlate in that sense. Jordan was able to stop guys from getting titles in the West.
And I think, having LeBron, to get through, it's tough.
At some point, that's going to come down. That's going to change. We've seen it all. We've seen it with Michael. We've seen it with Kobe. We've seen it with a lot of great players. And we want to be the one, the Toronto organization wants to be the one who knocks that gate down. For whatever reason, we got the unlucky draw every.
Dwayne Casey. I like Dwayne Casey as a coach, though, by the way. He's a pretty good coach. He was the guy on Dallas Mavericks that centered the defense around. He came up with the game plan on how to neutralize LeBron James in that Dallas series. But you can't say that you're going to get past LeBron James. If you couldn't get past LeBron James this year with this roster, Dwayne Casey, I got news for you. You're not going to get past LeBron James. It's just not going to happen. Because next year, he's not going to have this roster. Next year, he may not even be on this team. Next year, he may not even be in the East. So, no, you're not going to get past LeBron James. You had 3 years to do it. Came up, I'm not going to even say came up short. Woefully came up short. 2 years, got swept. So, no, y'all not going to get past LeBron James.
Year of going against him, but, it's going to come a time when that gauntlet is going to come down. And why not us?
Lovely, why not you?
Look at Jalen Rose, got the broom out, got the sweet broom out. But like I said, man, Toronto they're just too mentally fragilely. They just can't get past LeBron James. And you know what? I don't even think, even last year, I know last year they didn't think they can beat the Cavs. This year, they probably didn't think they could beat the Cavs either. I don't believe they thought they could beat the Cavs this year. But like I said, DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, they're not number ones. They're they're number twos. I say they're solid number twos, borderline number threes on a championship winning team. But like I said, let's see what happens next year. Toronto needs another player, another playmaker, they need a number one. They really need a number one if they're going to do anything. But in my estimation, it's time to break the team up, man. It's like it's time to break Washington Wizards up. Because you got teams like the Philadelphia 76ers next year that's going to be real good. You got teams like the Bucks. You got teams like the Boston Celtics. And then you got my team like Chicago. They got a pretty good roster. I believe if the Bulls were not tanking, they could have made the playoffs easy. They could have been a number 7, number 6, or number 8 seed. Easy. And they got 3 core players with Zach LaVine, and they have Chris Dunn, and they have Lauren Markkinen, who I think is going to be a star in the league. And they have possibly got the number 6 pick this year and the number 22nd pick. And they got pretty good players on their roster. You know what I'm saying? They got free agency in the next 2 years. So the Bulls can make some significant moves, man, and be the fourth or third best team in about a year and a half. So, like I said, Toronto and Washington, they're done, man. They're just done. They need to combine their teams together and see what they can do. But I'm out. Let me know what y'all think about the Toronto Raptors getting swept. And let me know who y'all got possibly winning between Cleveland and Boston in the next round. I'm going to get an edge to Cleveland. But I say Boston does have a chance to win. If Boston win their two games at home and don't allow Cleveland to split one of those games, I believe Boston can win in 6 or 7. But I have to give Cleveland the edge because, like I said, LeBron James the last 7-8 years have had the East Conference on lock. Now, he hasn't had the Western Conference on lock in the finals, but he has had the Eastern Conference on lock. I'm out.